we're all different. Like for someone you will be the perfect choice, but for someone unfortunately you will not be, and that's completely normal, that's completely fine. But if you present yourself on social media and if you build your personal brand, you're actually like one step forward, let's say, and sales in the end will be so much easier.
Welcome back to Systems with Laura podcast. This episode of Systems with Laura is brought to you by Proprium, business workflow and automation agency. If you're building a service based business and you're overwhelmed by operations, automations, or choosing the right tools, this is exactly what Proprium helps with. Proprium builds systems that help you save time, reduce repetitive work, and scale without chaos. Learn more at proprium.agency. Today's guest is someone incredibly special to me, not only because of the amazing work she does, but because our journey together goes back years. Before she became the founder of Sociallure, a standout Croatia based marketing agency helping entrepreneurs make social media work for them and not against them, Vedrana was a student employee at Proprium. I remember those early days so vividly, her curiosity, her work ethic, her creativity, and watching her grow into the entrepreneur she is today feels like a real full circle moment. Since launching Sociallure, we've stayed connected, collaborated, and supported each other and built something far more meaningful than just a work relationship. Vedrana now runs an agency built on strategy, storytelling, personal branding, and beautifully intentional created content. She's showing up boldly online and serving clients with clarity and heart. So today we're going to dive into the systems that helped her grow Sociallure, what she wishes more creators understood about social media, how she manages content production and client expectations, and the behind the scenes realities of becoming a founder. I could not be more proud to introduce her. Please welcome Vedrana.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for such a nice intro. And I'm happy that we can finally also see each other in this format after working for so long.
So I also, what I forgot to add in the intro is you are one of the reasons that this podcast exists. And you are one of the reasons that I have a YouTube channel. So I hope that we can also tackle those things because you inspired me for all of that. And you also made me open TikTok at one point. So I learned from those things, and I really really am excited. We dive into this and we talk about your agency, we talk about what you do. But let's start with how we met, and basically let me shamelessly plug Proprium agency first. And tell us about those early days when we worked together. What did you learn at Proprium, and how was that experience for you?
hmm So we started working, I would say it was already around 4 years ago, something like that.
Wow,
Yes,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was a long
yeah,
time ago.
actually.
It was a student job. I was still a student. I saw Laura's ad and it sounded interesting. It was online, which was also like a big plus for me. I think it's also like for every student a big plus because it offers more flexibility and everything. And I remember we started collaborating during summer. I know that I was late to one of the interviews, which was
I don't remember that. Ooh, I don't
I
remember that.
remember it was the third round group interview.
Mm.
I was late, and then I was connecting through a coffee bar, and I was honestly
Oh, I remember
yes,
that.
and I was
Yes.
honestly thinking like, yeah, okay, this will be a fail. I was late. I'm connecting from a coffee bar. It's loud around me. Okay, never mind. But in the end, I got the job, and I would like to say that like working in Proprium was really flexible. Was really like student job, how every student job should be. Communication great when you compare with most of the jobs. Usually, there are problems in communication. I had zero problems in communication in Proprium. Also with Laura as my boss at that point, and also all other colleagues. So it was great. And then basically from that point, after working for 3 years together, I opened my own agency and we decided that we will continue working in a different format, in a different shape. And I'm really happy for that.
Me too. And I remember the cafe now that you mentioned it. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, okay, that's impressive because she's dedicated. I didn't see that as a minus. I was like, wow, that was a plus for you, by the way,
Oh,
when
you don't know
you
behind this.
it was loud and everything, but you had like headphones, you were very cautious. I really appreciated that. And then when we started working, I was always so surprised that basically anything that we worked on, I never had to double, triple check. You were always, on top of things, and you were the one giving me advice and solutions immediately. So even though it was a student job, you immediately started acting like a future entrepreneur, if that makes sense. So I am so happy to hear about a full year of Sociallure. I had to ask you before we started, like, was it 2 months ago? Is it a year ago? Now I keep forgetting, the time. It just passes by. It feels like we met yesterday, and I would say it's 4 years. So I guess the first year also flew by for you for the company. How did that feel?
Yes.
Before you were an employee, now you're fully an entrepreneur.
Yes,
How does that
it
feel?
really went super fast, and now it's a year and 2, 3 months, something like that. But honestly, for me, it wasn't that big of a change because you know that also before I was working for other people, but I always had 5 projects on the side. So basically, I was still working like with multiple people all around. So yeah, I didn't notice a big difference compared to that. But when I actually decided to open a company, I was also working on one full-time job. It was honestly my dream job. I enjoyed what I was doing there. But the big problem for me was zero flexibility. It was kind of event industry, let's say, and I think that everyone who was ever working in that type of industry know how it goes. You're working 9 to 5, but if event is at 8, okay, you go home, you go back to event, you have to edit videos, edit all content after it. So basically it's not 9 to 5 anymore, it's 9 until midnight. Weekends, if events are during weekend, you have to work on all of that. And I really love to travel. I'm really enjoying traveling, and having a job like that was really limiting me. Again, example, while working for Laura, I was flexible. I could travel around. I could do whatever I want. That didn't matter if I'm like doing social media from home, from Portugal, from Barcelona, or somewhere else. But for full-time job in office, it was really problematic. So for me, that was just like some relief, let's say. So now I don't have to listen to anyone. When I have to be where, what do I have to do? I'm just putting schedule how I like by my own.
Yeah, and that's like people don't understand that unless they try it out. It's worth the fear and responsibility that we have,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. And I remember when we started working together, you were on Erasmus in Spain, right?
That was actually year after we started work.
Year
Yes.
after, was it Portugal first?
No, no,
Then
no.
what
First
was the?
was so I went to Barcelona on Erasmus.
Yeah.
And basically that's the place where the whole idea of like starting something my own came, because I sometimes somehow got used to that I'm traveling, I'm not in Croatia, I'm not in Zagreb, I'm living there, I have flexibility. I was there studying and also having an internship, and I'll probably repeat this many times, but yes, I don't even remember for how many people did I work for that time. I was freelancing a lot. And Yeah, that's for example. And I was working for you in Zagreb. Then I just went to Barcelona, continue working like nothing happened. Everything was the same. Then I got back to Croatia, and I actually went to Portugal 1 month after I started my company. So that was also maybe like some motivation and reason, because we were planning something about it. And of course, if I would stay at my old work and didn't open my agency, I wouldn't be able to go to Portugal. So it's just like going one after another.
I just have to emphasize that, I don't remember those details because I never had a feeling like you're not doing what you're doing, if that makes sense. And I think that people are afraid to work remotely because they feel they need to micromanage people. And, if a person is not going to do their job anyway, you sitting in front of them, looking at them for 8 hours is not going to help either. You're just going to make them anxious. That's the whole point. So I don't ever remember I had to, have a conversation with you and ask you where something is. You were the one that was always like, hey, we can do this or we can do
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah.
that's a full entrepreneur already, in preparation. And there is so many, I think up to 10 people already that came out of Proprium have their own companies. So yeah, basically I love working with people like that. And whoever is listening to us, hire remote workers, don't hesitate. So that's one. And the other is, I always, whenever I talk to you, you're in a different place.
Yes.
So where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
Currently, I'm in Cyprus. Unfortunately, today it's a little bit windy and dark, but it's still warm. You can go outside like this without a jacket. And I just
That's
wanted to
good.
say that I think that um, what you mentioned, like find people remotely, I just think that people who will apply, of course, there are people who will apply just because, yeah, like always. But if you can sort people out, what you're doing really good, those people maybe have more motivation. Maybe that's something that they need, because for example, for me, like I just need my freedom and flexibility, and like that I can work much better. If I would have someone who's telling me you need to do this at 8 a.m., at 10 you have to do this, at 11 you have to do this, like my motivation is at zero. With Proprium,
Yeah.
it's yeah, okay, you have a task, do it when you want it, and that's the thing that works for me. Of course there are people that doesn't work for, who like to have people who will tell them do this until then and similar. But yeah, also at one point I was also helping you manage some of the students in marketing, and I just remember that we had that situation that some people liked more if we tell them, oh, you need to do this and this until
Yeah.
Friday, and some people preferred more, okay, let's just do it later. But yeah.
That moment was so good. I forgot about that because we were having a conversation. We had like a meeting, and we left a meeting, and I remember telling you, why would they want me to tell them what to do when? And you were like, I don't know. That's news to me also. So we were trying to figure out, okay, there are different styles of working. So right now we had people who are more flexible, but really some people just don't want to think about it, and that's also okay. So there are different roles for everybody, and there are different stages of the company. So startup mode is also not for everybody, basically. And the creative aspect of what you do, I don't see how I could structure that, right? So to me, and this also kind of ties into you working with clients. It doesn't have to be just when we worked, at Proprium. It's just your style. So you always listen to the person, from what I've noticed, and then you basically figure out some magic potion there, marketing wise, and then you present a solution. So that's also how my YouTube channel started, because you basically, kind of gave me the courage and said, you don't have to be this cool young person, you can still be you. This corporate millennial, so you can still do that, and I'm actually having fun with everything that I'm doing. So how do you work with other clients? What is your approach? what
Mhm.
what are some of the, I would say, kind of types of projects that you did so far in this year and almost a half?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, first thing, everyone is telling me that I'm a really good listener, and I think that's really important in my work. I just like to listen to people, just listen what they have to say, what they're struggling with, and also the second thing, I'm not the person that you just tell me, oh, I need this and this. I will analyze the whole situation and give you advices. What else can you do? For example, like for your podcast, your YouTube, TikTok, and similar. I just want to mention here also, for people who are listening, people really often think TikTok is for young people. No one will watch me. It's not my ideal clients and similar, but it's not like that. TikTok is really good in targeting people, and it can easily target exactly the people who will be interested in your content. But of course it takes time. But it's always like, if you're already posting on Instagram, if you're posting on Facebook, why not just to post on one more platform? But yeah, for me, first step is listen what client has to say, research everything I need to research, try to find some more solutions, and then we go into proposal. I propose them what I think is the best. And of course, sometimes people agree, sometimes people don't agree. But my goal is just to find something that will suit them, that we can work together. Because of course, yes, I'm helping them build their brand, manage their social media, is and similar. I can do most of the job. But of course, a person always needs to be included. It cannot go without a person. I mean, it can, but will it be the best? Probably not. You always need to put some of your effort also.
So, how do you figure out how to explain to them what they need to do? Because I feel that, well, that's my kind of perception of entrepreneurs around me. They just want, here's social media, just do it without me,
Yes.
just make it happen. So how do you manage expectations when you start working with
Mm-hmm.
them?
I have one story actually to share. What happened today morning with one of my potential clients. She's in her industry. She's professional in what she's doing, but social media is like, just posting some promotions when something is happening, which is of course not the best. I always say that, like, to sell on social media, you first need to give people value. After you give them value, you need to build a trust, and after you build trust, then you can sell. And during the conversation, I came to the topic like, okay, you have your service, but a lot of other people have the same service. Why would someone choose you and not the other person? Like, you need to show how, like, how much you know about the things that you're doing. You need to show all of that. And we came to the topic that she should maybe post some videos, because the easiest way for people to learn about you, to get to know you better, to gain trust, is to see you on a video, to just like share whatever you have to say on a video. It's completely different if you, for example, now are watching this podcast, are looking at two of us. You can get much better impression of us than if you're just reading sentences what we are just saying here. And she gave me a sentence that was basically like, yeah, but you know what, I mean, I didn't go to college for 5 years to just like film videos. It was for her more like,
Oh.
okay, I want to work, do what I'm doing, I'm really enjoying it, but I don't want to film videos. It's not, I didn't go for that. And I tried to explain her that really doesn't really work like that. For example, I told her, okay, but you have your website. You told me that you're writing a lot of articles on your website and you're explaining everything to people. Like, what's the difference then in videos? It's not that you will be now an influencer, that you will now have to share your daily life or whatever. It would be the same thing that you're writing in your articles. Just sit in front of camera, say it to people. It even doesn't have to be at the beginning saying directly to people. It can be b-rolls. B-rolls are videos that you're just like doing something, typing on a computer, signing papers or whatever, and then you add some text. And she was a little bit skeptical, but after we ended the call, I got a message that I left a really good impression. There was also her colleague on a call, that they're really interested, that they can't wait for me to send the proposal and everything. So I think that people just need, you need to listen to them and explain them why something else might work. Because, for example, in her head, it was just, okay, I don't want to film videos, I'm not an influencer, because that's what most people are connecting it with. I want to do what I'm doing, I don't have time to film videos on a side. Then again, she's writing articles because articles are giving values and people are coming to her. Again, if she's filming videos, videos are giving values, and people are coming to her, but on a different channel on social media, not on a website. So yes, now I can't tell you how will this story end at the moment, but I'm having a lot of situations like that, and usually people trust me, they accept it, because I'm not just like, okay, you should do this. You should do this because, then I'm saying what is the reason.
Yeah, because you validated her fears and
Yeah.
feelings, and then you showed empathy, and then you showed her like what she actually can do. Because I also remember when you mentioned TikTok, and I think it took me 2 years. I was really stubborn. But to me, TikTok was, some kids dancing on a melody or a song and just like doing dance moves, and that's it. I didn't understand that you actually, the algorithm moves you towards the audience that you define, basically. And
Mhm.
people don't usually define their audience. They don't define who they're talking to. So when you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to
Exactly.
nobody. And that's the first thing that I think you solve. Do you work with them on their ICP, ideal client profile, and stuff like that? How do you kind of hone that before you guys start working
Mm-hmm.
together?
So hmm, let me think about this. I like what you said, that if you speak to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So yes, that's one of the main steps in a strategy. I think that first you need to define yourself. What are you offering? what do you what can you solve for people, and then you need to find people who are you actually solving it to. And people really often think that ideal persona is just like, okay, female, 30 to 40, from Croatia, for example. that's not your ideal persona. You need to go much deeper, except demographic and age and things like this. You need to go like what they like to do, where they spend their time. Are they even on social media, or they're maybe using some other channels more? People actually know who are their ideal clients, but it's a little bit harder for them to put it on a paper to like show it. So I think the best thing is just like to go with them through the conversation. Okay, what are your clients currently? Who do you like the most to talk to? Okay, then some specifics about them. Okay, if they're, for example, parents. Okay, but it's probably not all parents. Are those parents who are having younger kids, older kids? Are those parents that have like a higher budget or a lower budget? So I think it's all just about asking a lot of questions and listening to a person and just like discovering it all. And again, one tip for our listeners: if you're doing this by yourself, you can always use ChatGPT or something like that to help you with the question, just to analyze it. But yeah, just try to take 1 hour, sit down, write it all down on a paper, and I'm sure you'll find the reason. And of course, um, this is maybe a little bit not so popular opinion, but I think that you can change your ideal client all the time. I mean, not
Yeah.
now every day or whatever, but every few months, sit down and reverse it, because your business is changing, your services are changing, you are changing, and also people are changing. So maybe something that was working the best for you at the beginning of the year, maybe now is not. Maybe you need to redefine your target audience and try to target different people.
I fully agree with you. And it's not just the ideal client, it's also you can change your services. As long as you have them registered, everything's legal on your, business license and all of that. If you have, at one point, you decided you're offering, I don't know, social media packages, you can offer other stuff, later on, basically. I started with events and marketing and outsourced management, and like nobody remembers that we did events in 2018 as Proprium. Uh, Completely different audience. We pivoted because pandemic and everything happened, but I felt so ashamed when I realized that I have to now work just online because the whole situation happened with lockdown,
Mhm,
right? And then I had to find a new way to find clients, and those clients needed some other stuff that I also knew how to
mhm,
do and also had registered as a business. So basically, I think it's the same with this. People just don't think it's a good thing to do because they feel like ashamed, like I failed as an entrepreneur, or I failed in this. They're so kind of concerned with limiting beliefs,
mhm.
if that makes sense. And what you're saying is you evolve, you learn. Why stick to something, even if it's working? I've had some situations where I had to make a decision. We don't have time for this. We need to put our resources somewhere else, right? So how do you deal with explaining that to the clients when they're afraid? Because I think they're also afraid of losing a sale.
Mhm,
So if they kind of decide, we're talking to parents who are millennial parents, and they are very digitally savvy, etc., that they're not gonna get the boomer generation or Gen Z generation to purchase from them. So what do you say to kind of those
mhm.
things?
I mean, I think that always you just need to test it. We cannot know answers without testing, because every business, yes, there are some rules, there are some things that will work and that will not work that we know. But for a specific business by business, when we look at it as a like single piece, you just need to test it. That's the only thing. Just like you need to be ready to spend some time to get some budget also. Few months testing, it will be worth it in the end, because you will find out what's working. Also, not only about targeting people, but also, for example, for what type of content is actually working for you, what formats are working for you, which platforms are working for you. Everything is testing. Everything you do, you need to test it first.
So, how did you test your own social media? I've noticed that your Instagram has a huge reach, so at least 70 to 100 likes per post. And then LinkedIn, you grew really fast to 10,000
Mhm.
followers. So, how did you, investigate what to post, what to do? How did you test it on yourself so far? Because if I can just add, you're not just telling this, like I see, and everybody sees the results. So you are talking about this topic, but you are also growing on social
Mhm.
media. and it's very visible. I especially love your TikTok. I told you that before before the call. So and you're very different on each of those. You're still you, but it's a different aspect of
Mhm.
you. So how did you kind of manage that?
So first thing, I think that I didn't give enough attention to my social media at the beginning is because I was always focusing more on clients. It was always first clients, then me. And I didn't have time, which at some in some way it was okay for me because anyways I was fully booked. I couldn't really accept much more people, but at some point I was thinking like, okay, wait, but I'm sitting with these people on a call, I'm telling them what they need to do, that they need to show up on social media, that they need to film videos, that they need to try different platforms, and I'm not really doing that. I was just like posting occasionally when I had time. And then I decided to change it, and when I changed it, things changed. Like just like followers started growing pretty fast. Um, well, I was again testing things. I was posting different types. Like, one post was more storytelling, the other one was more tips, the third one was giving some lists that people can use. And then I was analyzing what's actually working better, what's working worse. In my case, the best thing that was working was storytelling. And in in most cases now today storytelling is working the best, and it was working better when I was using, for example, showing my face than just like putting white background or something like that. Then also for different platforms, I'm basically creating mostly similar topics. It's all the same, but I'm just like spreading it differently around. And yeah, I would say that for me also filming videos, when I started doing that, that was just like growing up so fast. And then what I continue to do, I just continue to push more videos. So again, just testing, testing, testing.
I think it's the fact that people see you're a real person when it's a video.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the main point. I'm really focusing a lot on personal branding, like teaching people about personal branding to every client I'm working with. I'm always saying, I think I mentioned this somewhere at the beginning of the podcast, like, okay, you have one service, but 50 other people are having the same service. Why would someone choose you and not the other one? You are giving the same quality, you're having the same product, everything is the same, but why would they choose you and not another person? Of course, because of the person who is actually behind the profile, who is hiding behind that logo, behind that visuals. Because I'll have to communicate with you. For example, Laura, now if I need help with automatization or whatever, I found you, I found someone else. I'll have to
Yep.
communicate with you. I'll need to text with you. I will need to pay you. I want to know who will I have to work with, because we are all different. Like for someone you will be the perfect choice, but for someone unfortunately you will not be, and that's completely normal. That's completely fine. But if you present yourself on social media and if you build your personal brand, you're actually like one step forward, let's say, and sales in the end will be so much easier. And that's
I fully
Yes,
agree.
and video is the best option for that. Yeah, again, if you're posting photos of yourself, it's still good because people can get a feeling. It's not, okay, I will now buy something for this person. We'll have to work together. I will see her on a calls. Doesn't matter. It can also be in-person service or product. Doesn't matter. You don't know what to expect. Like this, you get some feeling. But again, video is, I would like to say, if I have to choose, for example, two biggest trends in 2026, I think it will definitely be video content and storytelling, combination of those two.
Yeah, I agree. And I've had people reach out when they see a video and they just want to, get on a call. Um, I guess it's because it's not just your service or are you expert enough? It's also, do I dislike you? Do I like you? Do I want to spend time with you? Just like you said. So I also do the same when I'm choosing a service provider. So it can be some things that people dislike about you that are not even your own issue, like you maybe remind them of somebody that they don't like, and you lose immediately, if that makes
And
sense.
that's
So
all
um
completely normal because also one
yeah,
example, let's go 5 years before. When we
yeah,
were buying some creams or some food products, we also have some brands that we like and some brands that we don't like.
yes,
It can be because
yes,
of the packaging, it can be because they're not practical for us. It can be because of some of their values. Maybe they're testing on animals, which we don't like, or similar.
yeah.
And the same thing is now in this social media world with real people. Same thing, but just like different.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree. And I've noticed that about myself when I moved. For example, I moved from Osijek to Varaždin, and I only buy Saponia's products. So it's just I'm still faithful to the brand just because it's a local brand, and I'm so used to buying local. So when I went to the store, I didn't even think. I was like, we're buying that detergent. That's it. I mean, it's also great detergent. Hopefully, they will be a sponsor someday, but it's also loyalty. And like if you go to another country and you're buying some like chocolate spread, like I'm gonna go with Nutella. I'm not gonna even look at the local ones because I don't know them, right? So I'm just gonna go with what I'm used to, basically. So I think it's the brand loyalty, and it's very different with like services and products. So like when I'm purchasing a product, I don't care about the person, right? I don't want to know about the person. I want to know about the product, its usability, how I love videos about stuff that I can see how it's being used in the space, etc., etc. But when I'm purchasing a service, I'm actually purchasing the person that I'm going to work with, just like you said. So if I'm not on video, I'm not present, then basically it's really hard to do that. And I remember when I was starting the podcast and I was talking to you what to do, and my fear was like, who's gonna be guests? Like, where will I find people? I don't have a following on social media. I'm just starting out with my personal brand. I have to say that it doesn't matter. Like, I had 200 followers on Instagram at that moment, and I listened to you, and I was like reaching out to people. I was following them. I was publishing some reels, etc. Took me less than a month to find guests, and people jumped on, gave me trust. We went on a virtual coffee and we filmed episodes, and we're still in touch. So it created so many networking opportunities also. So what do you think about those aspects when you're trying to explain to the client what to do next in their personal branding? How should they start when they have zero following, for
Mm-hmm.
example?
Well, exactly what you said. You need to engage with others. That's the main thing. You can have perfect posts, it will give you followers over the time, it will grow over the time. But I mean, in the end, followers are not the main reason. Still, doesn't matter the number of followers. It's just important that you have like good quality people around you. But engaging with people, what that means? That means follow people that you like their photos, reach out to their DMs. If they post on a story something that you find interesting, answer to them, because what will happen? People will, first of all, find out about you. Second of all, they will engage back with your content when you're posting something. You will get so much more opportunities. That's number one thing. So create content, but also engage with people. Two main things you need to do.
I love what you said about engage with people, because before I started doing that, I was like, this entrepreneur I saw, she looks so good in every video she's putting out. I guess she has a team behind her and stuff like that. She's not gonna respond to me, right? And then you reach out, you message somebody, and you start a conversation. And you realize, wait, that's not her assistant. That's really her.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just talking, and we hit it off, and then we go for a virtual coffee, and then we record a podcast episode together. And I think that my biases towards the whole thing were the biggest issue. Like you said, everything that you kind of dissected, step one, step two, step three, for everything, if you follow that, you will get to the result. The problem is we don't kind of follow them because we think that we perceive this in a way. So like when you said you should open TikTok, I was like, but I don't want to dance, I don't want to do that. And then it took you a little it took you a little while, but then I listened to you, and now I realize basically I was my own obstacle. So even with the best advice, even with somebody, telling you, hey, you can do that, it's going to be okay. If you don't like say, I'm going to try it, you're not going to try it. So there are some people that need some more time, right, to start doing those things. So if they were to prepare before they contact you, for example, for personal branding, what would you want them to do? Like 5 things, to prepare before meeting you, for you to help them grow.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we can do all of that together. We can go from the beginning together. But if you would like first to test yourself and to do some things by yourself, I would say first thing, define your story. Define who are you, what are you offering to people, how you can help them. Second thing, define your target audience. Who are you actually targeting? Who do you want to look at your posts? write as much as you can. Third thing, start posting. Start posting and just start. After that, be consistent. So what does it mean? Posting consistently doesn't mean posting now 3 times, then not posting for 2 weeks or something like that. You need to put yourself a schedule, open calendar, and then write, okay, I will post every Tuesday and Friday, and then just be consistent and just do it.
If today's episode makes you realize your tools are not supporting your business, Proprium builds systems in tools like Airtable, SmartSuite, ClickUp, HubSpot, Make, Zapier, and many more. Proprium's team maps your processes, builds your workflows, automates your tasks, and trains your team. If you want systems done properly, visit proprium.agency. That's an amazing advice because I think if you approach that without judging yourself, you're gonna have proof of your own, I would say, skills being developed,
Mhm.
basically. Because right now, like, I can't say I have 500 podcast episodes behind me, but I have around 20, and I can say that I feel much more relaxed in front of camera now than I did with the first episode. And now when I record, I don't have this whole day when I'm scared, if that makes sense. Before I get on camera, I can do my stuff, and then I'm just like, oh, 15 minutes before, I need to, do something about my hair and get ready and look decent and start talking to the guest, basically. So I think that kind of makes you relax even
Mhm.
more, and then you can have ideas. Because first you're gonna like look at things and you're gonna be judgy and you're gonna be like, oh, people are gonna laugh at me, this will happen, that will happen, and basically you're gonna be too self-conscious about it. Later on, you notice nobody cares. Like the things I
Exactly.
see about myself that I don't like, nobody actually cares. They're here for content, they don't care about
Yes.
that, and they didn't even think about what I thought about, if that
Yeah, and
makes
I
sense.
always say to people, while you're scrolling, are you really analyzing every single thing on the video? Is it a perfect lighting? Is the person, like, perfect, looking perfectly sleek, whatever? You're not noticing that. You're there for information. You open the podcast to get some information. You open a YouTube video about specific topic because you want to learn about it. Social media, if you like the first sentence and you continue to watching the video, that just means that you like it. And also, um, you shouldn't have too much pressure on yourself that you should start with, like, filming long form video, talking to the camera for half an hour, something like that. For someone it's natural. Someone can just, like, I had clients, we were on a first call, mentoring call. She was like, okay, I could try to start filming videos. Next day she's posting a 3 minutes video of her talking on Instagram. She had zero problem with that. For some people it's a problem. Some steps that you can take for that. First of all, you don't need to talk to the camera at the beginning. Just try filming yourself so you get used to the camera and used to, like, seeing yourself. Then second thing, you can use voiceovers. Voiceovers are, you're having a video, something is happening in the video, but then you film a voice after it and adding it to a video. Like that, you will then get more used to your voice. First thing, you're getting used to you showing up on a video. The second thing, you're getting used to yourself talking on a camera. And then after that you can come to more different things. And also for filming, there are like some tricks. For example, you can always imagine that you're talking to your friend or your partner or someone, or you can even put them behind the camera. Just like, don't look straight to the camera. If it's giving you stress, just like look at them. Or also, I'm saying really often that it's I would say last few months popular to film like fake podcast style videos where people are basically placing camera on 45 degrees and talking like this. They're just acting like they're talking to another person. Still, it's a good video, you can use it, and for you it will be much easier because you're not looking directly in yourself. And also, I would say, film more content in one day. Don't go like every day, okay, now I need to film a video, now I need to get ready, I'm stressing, I need to do it. No, just like prepare what you need to prepare and then film 10 videos at one moment. It will be much easier because you will stress only once.
That's true, and you will prepare only once, and then you're gonna put makeup only once. You don't have to, make it a week to
Mhm.
suffer, if that makes sense. And I love the podcast style videos that you said, because when I see that, it makes me feel like I stumbled upon this recording of something that was meant for a closed community or
Mhm.
a closed webinar, and I feel like I'm getting this hidden value that wasn't supposed to be aimed at me, but I get it, like, here's a gift for you. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's how they feel to
Yeah.
me when I see
Yeah.
them.
Exactly.
And I really don't even care if it's fake or not. It really
Mhm.
feels like I stumbled upon something that was not even meant for me to see. So they're really cool. I like that trend a
Yeah,
lot.
they're currently trending a lot.
I need to test that out.
Yes,
You now gave me an idea. You gave me an idea.
you
So I
should.
love
You
that.
should.
I'm wondering now, we're getting close to one of our last questions here. So I'm wondering, you have a lot of clients, you're booked, you were already booked when I remember when you opened the company, you were
I had
booked
7
out.
clients in the first month.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was amazing. Not a surprise to me, honestly, but that's amazing, especially when you're starting out. So how did you manage those clients? What type of systems do you have in your business to manage, the workload, the social media? And that's a lot of accounts that you have to open every day,
Mhm.
right? So do you use any type of software? What do you recommend? How do you kind of
Mhm.
structure the back
Mhm. Well, I think I'm still pretty bad at managing all of that. But I know you, so I was always taking some recommendations and like applying things. For example, for me, the biggest problem in business in general was remembering things. I would be like keeping everything in my head, like, you know how they say mental overload, just like keeping
end?
everything in my head and then waking up, okay, I need to do this and this and this for this client, for another one client, for myself. And it was just like too much. And then I was like, okay, with Laura, we were using ClickUp. ClickUp is great for task management, and I tried using it. I'm not maybe sorting it professionally as you are. So if you want to go on some next level, you need to hire Proprium
Yeah,
to do
you
the,
call me. We'll have virtual coffee. I'll
yeah.
sort it out.
But I'm putting tasks first for myself, what I need to do for my company. Sometimes I put some private tasks even because it's easier to follow. And for each client, I have it all set. And the best thing is that you can put those like that it's repeating. So if I know that I have some daily activity for a client, I put it daily. If I know, okay, I need to create content and send it to approval once a month, it's repeating once a month. And just when I'm done with the task, I just press one button and it moves away. So that one is probably the most useful for me. Um, Also with some clients, mostly with like international clients, I'm using Slack for communication.
Mhm.
I think it's really easy. You have everything organized, super nice. I also like automating emails a lot. For that, I'm using MailerLite mostly. Um, it's saving so much time. If someone, for example, registered to my newsletter, of course they will go get automated email, but also not that. Few days after, they'll get the next email. If someone downloads any of my freebies, they will get automatic email. If I'm having some campaign, some new offer, everything is automated, and it just saves so much time.
That's really good. And um, I think that people should subscribe to your newsletter, and I think they should find you and work with you. So where can they do that?
They can find me on Instagram mostly. It's vedrana.sruk. And on LinkedIn, same name and surname. I'm most active there.
So where do you see your company going in the next 2 or 3 years? How do you see this
Mm-hmm.
developing?
Oof, it's hard to me to plan much in future because for me things are changing all the time. But what I would like to grow a bigger team of people, let them run all social media management part, and I would like to focus more on working directly with people and like educating them, doing things like that. And actually beginning of next year I will open my course about personal branding for business owners, female business owners. So I would like to focus more on that things and just like social media maybe put in like a second plan for someone else to manage, because I would like of course to grow, have a bigger team, and then team can take part of the things, and I would like to focus more on direct communication and not just posting for others.
So when this episode is out, you are listening to us early 2026. So the course is almost gonna be out at that point,
Probably end of
right?
January, probably.
End of January. So we will update the show notes when that happens. When you are listening to this, it already happened probably. So please join the course and explore it, and basically get in touch with Vedrana. You will not regret it. You will really, really learn a lot. And I'm so proud and grateful not to have you as a guest, but also thankful that we collaborated for the last 4 years, and that I met you before the agency. So it really is a full circle moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.
To everyone listening, if you want your social media to feel lighter, more strategic, and actually aligned with your business, follow Vedrana, connect with her, and check out Sociallure. She's one of the rare people who gets both the creative and the system side of online presence. So thank you for tuning into Systems with Laura. Until next time, experiment, learn, and grow. If you enjoy conversations like this, you'll love the Proprium Digital Network. It's a community where digital service founders get tools, templates, weekly insights, and behind the scenes guidance on building systems the right way. If you want to stop building systems alone and start building with support, join us at proprium.agency.